shine to light. Inner circles here where voices thrive. Turn on your screens, let the magic unfold. Listening and healing as stories are told. Come on, come on, this is your time. No topics too tough, just heed the calls. From mental health woes to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the meek. A safe space for all, let's lift every voice. In a circle podcast where hearts unite. Sharing our truths, bringing hope to the light. Community strong, we're never alone. Together as one, we've created a home. With laughter and love, we break down the walls. No topics too tough, just heed the calls. From mental health woes to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the meek. A safe space for all, let's lift every voice. So join the conversation, let's set the tone. In a circle podcast where love is well known.
Good evening, everyone. And today is Wednesday, May 21st. I mean, the month is already flying. We already have the Memorial Day weekend. So I hope you are getting ready for a long weekend. But tonight is our business segment, the usual business segment. So normally on a Wednesday, we discuss business. And so welcome to another episode, cutting edge episode of the Inner Circle podcast. It's our business segment. Here we amplify voices, we empower dreams, and we elevate our community. So I'm your host, Abe Kamara. I'm here with the ever dynamic, my co-host, Miss B, and my man Titus is joining us tonight to discuss on the business segment. So it's going to be late, right? The topic tonight is the rise of payment apps. I don't know, man. If 10 years ago, right, Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, I mean, PayPal been around for a minute, but Zelle, Cash App, and Venmo, they're like the new thing and things like that. Even like there's Apple Pay, Google Pay. There's I mean, it's like there's so many of them out there, so many of them out there, right? I don't know how many people carry cash anymore or card. So it's like So tonight we are discussing the rise of payment apps. Technology have changed our lives, and then that's one of the things. I learned that even in Africa these days, man, payment app is a thing, right? It's like mobile money and things like that. So tonight that's the topic. I'm your host, Abe Kumara, and we'll go around and we'll introduce our panelists and then we'll get into it. Miss B.
Good evening, everyone. It's your girl, Miss B, again, minding the business that pays me. Welcome.
Okay.
Titus here, guys. Hey, thanks for having me. I thought I'd come and chill with the business folks. I'm not a regular on here, but yeah.
You were talking business last night.
No,
No,
I guess that energy is still flowing. So
our business we were talking last night.
So I'm gonna chill with y'all tonight, man.
Anyway, folks. Yeah. Anyway, folks, thank you so much to Michael, Miss B, and my man Titus. So, folks, you can join this growing community by subscribing to our YouTube channel. It's growing. Following us on Facebook, subscribing to our podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or LinkedIn or X, anywhere you get your podcast. Man. We are all over the place. Circle podcast, you cannot mix it. So, join us for this great conversation. So, Ms. B, are you a user of payment apps?
Definitely.
Which one do you use? Which one is your favorite?
So I'm a user of payment app. I use a variety based on my siblings.
Okay. So which one do you use the most, and which one is your favorite?
I don't have a favorite because, to be honest, I'm not like on the receiving end of these apps. I'm on the giving.
You are just the giver. You don't receive. Okay.
I am not on the receiving end.
Titus, which one do you use, right? And again, to the folks out there,
bro.
uh, the most popular ones you have Cash App, you have Zelle, you have Venmo. So, those are the one where in like you pay, you can use app. I mean, Apple Pay can even send money with Apple Pay or Google Pay. I think even those ones you can do that. But
Yes.
Titus, which one is your favorite, or which one do you use the most?
First, I think I need to send my Cash App ID to Miss B. She's not on the receiving app. I'm gonna get some ching ching.
I
But
know, right?
hey, we use Cash App for the most part. Cash App
Mhm,
mostly. I think it's just I don't know. It's easier. It's common. And more people have it, so I think that's why we transact with it a lot. Other than that, Venmo. I like Venmo when it comes to business.
mhm,
Zelle. You know,
mhm, mhm.
I think those are the top three so far. And then
Yeah.
Google, Samsung Pay mainly when I don't have my wallet and I'm out there
Oh,
to make.
Samsung too. So Samsung have a pay to Samsung.
Yes.
Oh,
For
of
what you
course,
see now?
Oh,
See
but
that
anyway,
Apple
of
one?
course.
anyway, I'm an Apple user, so I use Apple Pay. But if you say
I
Cash
be
as
giving you all the problem.
if you say Cash as the most popular, I think Cash as the most popular in the immigrant community or in the minority community because it only have like 55 million users.
Mm-hmm.
Venmo has 90 million users. Venmo. So it's like, I use
I'm not.
Venmo.
I'm not surprised. I'm not
I use
surprised.
I use Venmo sparingly, right? But Venmo seems to be very, very popular with the young kids. You know what I mean? Young
Mm.
kids, yeah, the young kids like
Oh, okay.
yeah, the young kids use Venmo a lot. They don't normally go around Cash App or even Zelle, right? When a young kid you interact with them, I mean most of them use Venmo.
Yeah,
So
they don't know. They
so
don't
the
know. So
popularity of Cash App, I think, is mainly in the immigrant or the minority community. Now, don't get me wrong, other folks use it, but it only has 55 million active users. Things like that.
That's good.
So Ms. B, we already know like you use your payment app to send money out. Is there anything that you use your payment apps for, like maybe like a Zelle or something?
so when I do get money from Cash App, I
Mm-hmm.
have a freeloading tenant that chooses when and if to pay me. So when when they do pay me, the thing I hate about it is that Cash App wants to charge you a fee. Oh, they don't never get that fee out of me because I'm never in a rush. I'm like,
Okay.
the audacity, yes. The audacity. They want to try, and the more money the person send you, the larger the fee, right? I think one time the fee was like $19 or something like that. And I was like, good gracious, you didn't help me earn none of this money. And this person barely paid me rent. They paid me rent now. You want to take $19 of it. I'm like, no. So I don't like that about, I think all of them charge a fee, but Cash App's fees is the largest fee.
Well, for Zelle, if your bank has Zelle doesn't charge fees.
No, yeah.
Free as
My
free.
bank doesn't charge me. So
Yeah.
I
bank Zelle charges people. I didn't even know that. Yeah.
Well, the bank app, but as I was saying, before we could come in studio here, right? Uh, they used to have the Zelle has a standalone. It used to have a standalone app, but the banks kind of went away from that. Now it's like you have to have. I think it was just about a month or two ago. Now you have to have a bank account, or maybe you have to be bank over bank to actually use Zelle. And it seems to be the most convenient for me, right? Because as I said, right, once someone Zelle you, it goes straight into your account. You don't have to go into the app and then you have to transfer it. I think that's what you're talking about, Cash
Yeah.
App. And sometimes Cash App can be tempting that way, right? If someone send you something, and you need it right away. Tell us on mute if you're saying something. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, so I says like, Cash App, is like someone send you money. It's very tempting. Sometimes you just want to, maybe you want to use it right away. You have to first of all transfer into your account, and that's when it gets you, right? That's what that's when it actually gets you. But with these payment apps, what got you hooked up to them? Now, Titus, I'll start with you on that. What got you hooked up to the payment apps?
For me, it's just the easy access. I don't really like uh traveling with cash, anyways. It's quick,
Okay.
right? It helps you kind of keep track. I can be a loose spender too. Um, yeah, and especially with cash, bro. I mean, you
Mhm.
get a $100 bill in your pocket,
Yeah.
and you don't know how that money just goes, right?
Mhm.
So you're not really keeping track of it like that. But I think with these apps, you can always defer to them and check what you did on that day, what you're sending out, what you're receiving, stuff like that. And with the banks too, they're keeping track, of those things too.
Yeah.
So just in case you don't even want to go into your bank account, go through all the security protocol to get in there and log in online, you can just open your app right there. It's handy, it's available, it's accessible. But I like it. I just really like it for the convenience.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and that carrying that cash thing around is not really my thing like that. But
When
there are also concerns that I
mhm.
hope we'll talk about with
Yeah.
these apps, security concerns and what have you.
Yeah. So when was the last time you see you're not a fan of cash? When was the last time you carried cash?
I don't remember, bro.
When was the
I
last time
don't
you carried?
remember.
I
Okay.
haven't carried cash since
It's been a
'09.
while, bro.
Oh, since old now you have not carried cash. Man, that's like
Wow, since '09.
Yeah.
you have not carried.
I don't carry cash. I
What you
do
been
not.
using since that time? Like even on?
My card, my bank card, because I've
Oh,
always been on this mentality that if I have cash, I'm going to spend it. I won't know where my money went. At
Mhm.
least when I'm having my card, I can limit, how I'm spending my money and I can track it better. So
Yeah.
I've been
hmm
in a cashless mindset since '09. To be honest. If it was up to me, there's a lot of things that if it was up to me, businesses would be shut down because I don't go
sheesh.
to the post office. Yes,
Oh,
I don't utilize the bank at all. I'm strictly online banking. So yeah, I'm very automated in a lot of my things that I do. So
so do you think that then let me push you on that a little bit? And do you think with the rise of technology, all the payment apps, everything can be done online? Do you think, it's like banks and like bank branches are even necessary anymore?
no, they're not, and there are a lot of. I don't know if you're noticing, a lot of branches are closing down. But unfortunately, this is the part Abraham don't like. The digital divide between the black community and the white community is why you will see banks. Some banks will continue to have locations
What's the
still
digital
open.
divide? Everyone has a phone.
No,
Everyone has,
no,
who
and we
tell me who
experienced
doesn't have a
that.
tell me who
Not
doesn't have a phone.
everybody has.
Little more
Not
expand.
The Obama phone is for a reason. And then, you guys ever heard about that? The Obama phone is a reason. Obama makes based on people's income can make try to make cell phones available for them because the digital divide is a real thing. Google it.
That's my
We
first time
learned that
hearing
during
it.
the pandemic when we tried to pass policy to make sure that kids had internet at home. Not everybody has internet at home. So you got to think you have the phone, you have to have an internet service for that smartphone to work, right? And even if you can't afford a cell phone and can't afford the line, at least if you have a laptop, then you can bank, use your online banking through your laptop. But then you have to have internet at home. So because of that, our folks are still going to the banks, and so you're going to see it. They'll still continue to be around unless we can close that gap as far as people having access to the technology.
See, Democrat now seems to surprise me. Even y'all giving free food and all, y'all been giving free food and all. There's an Obama food, really? No,
Obama
really?
phone. I'm just learning
Yeah,
about
I'm
that,
just
bro.
having that. I'm just having
No,
that. Yeah, you progressive never seems to surprise me. Really? There's
let me
a
tell
there's
you,
an Obama phone.
it's a matter of national security. That was
How
the
is it a
mindset
matter of
behind it.
national security?
It is
Okay,
because thank God for the people that had cell phones when the plane was going down, right? It is. So we find benefit in people having access to a cell phone.
hmm, okay.
As far as
Uh,
banking too, you want people to spend money easily. So yes.
Tadas, I will kind of ask you a similar question though. I mean, is that what she's saying here, right? I don't believe it. That I think there's technology over. Even when you go to North Minneapolis, man, everyone on the smart, only will have their smartphone. But do we still need bank branches these days? Do we still need bank branches? Should banks still be having branches with the rise of technology,
I,
right? Technology is everywhere.
I believe there are situations that still require the physical person there,
Mm.
to meet their in some instances, for example, if your card got missing or something, there are some banks that will really issue you a bank card instantly, a temporary card, while you wait for that main card in the mail. And I think there are some other transactions, like really big transactions
Mm-hmm.
when you're wiring money. Um, there've been times when you're wiring money, you have to go to the local branch to actually do that. Folks have to identify who's wiring the money. That again, security purposes, they need to verify. They have other means of verification. I don't know if banks really will want to risk that online.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's safer in person with a bank manager and what have you. So there might be many reasons you could think of why we don't need branches and why we don't need person, but there are also, I believe, really important reasons why you must meet with a person um, to carry on certain transactions. And some of these banks too now they have they call it the video banks, where
Mm-hmm.
you just go in a place, you use your card, go
Okay.
in there. Like Bank of America has that, I believe. You
Okay.
go in there and you just speak to someone like on the screen,
Yeah.
interact with that person like a video call, and you can do some transactions there. But I think there's limits to those type of transactions. If you want to wire a certain amount of money,
Yeah.
there are other verifications needed.
Okay. Well, folks, tonight we are discussing the rise of payment apps. It's a great discussion. Wednesday is our business segment. So tonight, if you are a business person out there, how you receiving payment? Is it through cash or, Cash App or Zelle? So tonight, the topic on our discussion is the rise of payment apps. You can contribute to the discussion by calling our number 952-594-5154 or putting a comment in the chat. But for small businesses, though, Miss B, like how is it the rise of these payment apps? How is it beneficial for our small businesses, right? How is it benefiting them?
I mean, I think early on, and maybe it's just since post pandemic, where
Mhm,
I
mhm,
feel some businesses are moving away from it, but it was a huge rise because what happening was you could get money tax free, basically, right? Like if you were a salon owner, hairstylist, right, your clients could pay you. But unfortunately for them, eventually what happened now is Cash App is going to send that statement to the government. The Cash App, your Cash App, yes, your
mhm,
Cash App is operating like a QuickBook, your Venmo, all those payment apps, they're operating like a QuickBook, a
mhm,
self-employed resource where they are tracking the amount of money you're getting for tax purposes, right? So just imagine if you are getting cash, and that's technically what it is, and you're not paying for employer taxes, or you're not paying your state taxes based on the income that your business is receiving. Now
mhm.
Cash App and these different payment apps can help the government to see how much money is Abraham really making from that headphone business that he has, that only people only seem to pay him through Cash App and
Okay, okay,
Square, right? People use Square too to make payments.
okay,
Oh yeah, I heard about that too.
okay. Well,
Square.
Sam, welcome to the show. Welcome to our usual Wednesday business segment. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, Tatas. Good evening, Miss B.
Hi, Sam. Thanks for
Oh,
joining
brother.
us.
Guys watching us.
Which
Yeah,
which app which app do you use?
yeah, I've
Which app?
been flopping, so let's jump right into it. Uh
Which app do you use?
Mostly Cash App, man. I use Cash App and Zelle a lot.
Okay.
And like Miss B said, man, she been using it since 2012. She hasn't used cash. I found myself being a little more careful with my money when I use these apps, right? I mean, cash can go quickly. You know,
Nice.
yeah, it can go quickly, and sometimes you wonder how did I spend all this money? But when you can track it, and sometimes you have a limit on how much you can spend.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And also I think it also prevents the possibility of being robbed, right? Because you're not carrying around money, and also not just you, but the general perception that people are not generally walking around with cash.
Yes, yes.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just look at a man like, "Dang, he got cash. I'm gonna go rob." You know what I mean? Yeah. You
But let
see
me
a gun.
but let me push it there though, right? You said, you can get robbed. What if you lost your phone and then maybe someone get hold of it, right, and get into a cash app?
So the security measures. The
Okay.
security measures, like my Cash App, I can leave my phone with you. You have to punch in a code before you send that money.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so that's how yours is protected. So if even if I enter your phone, I still have to put in another code.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mine
Yeah.
works like that.
Yeah. But all
Okay.
these things, and if you have like Zelle,
Mm-hmm.
Zelle is connected to my banking.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to log into my banking before you can
Mhm.
access my Zelle. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Okay. Okay. Titus, I mean, last night we're discussing, we're on the church, right? It's like these days, do you think it is?
hey, okay.
It's a hope. I
Then
will.
what?
I'm not
Trust me.
trying to bring us back,
If you
but
go, if you
I
go to the
share
church,
that.
I mean, if you go to church,
Well, why
and
you
you,
haven't got a church?
and they
Why don't
ask,
you go to church? Why you
and they're
haven't got a
asking
church?
you,
Hey,
and they're
but let me
asking
ask
you
a
for
question though.
offering, and they're asking you for offering, and they're asking you for offering, and you say you don't have cash. You better say my man is like, yes, the cash is right there. Just go put it. I mean, it's like,
Listen,
go ahead.
all forms of payments, they're, they're on the projector.
Oh, look, maybe we went to the same place. I was impressed by that, though. To be honest, like,
Okay.
yes, they had the Zelle, they had the Cash App, they had the PayPal, and I
Everything is
actually
on there.
I
It's up
shared it
there.
on my Facebook page. I put it on my story. I took a
Really?
picture. Yeah,
You
I
bring
mean,
a
I
man
wanted
on
to
plane.
support the fundraising, right? And I
Mhm.
literally put it on my story. But then here's the downside. I went to visit another church, and they're passing basket around. And I know they intentionally did a second offer because they
They
saw
need
me
an
had given
upgrade.
to the church. But I couldn't help them because I
They
don't
need,
carry cash. And so they had no Zelle,
they need
they
to
had no
upgrade.
Cash App information. So
And
after
listen,
church, I said,
during offerings, they even for the folks watching online, they have the everything is there. It's on
yes.
your screen. If
So
you're just
this church,
watching
they
online, it's on
stream,
your
yeah, they
screen.
stream their
You know,
service
send your
and
yeah, man, they have
they have
everything,
Let's
online
man.
service.
let's
So
be
They
I
got
did
honest.
they
tell
got
the other
everything.
church, I said, you're behind.
It's
Y'all need
They
to.
behind. They need an
I
upgrade.
told it. I said,
it's
I don't bring. I know your brought second offering because you saw our year. So, but I'm sorry, I couldn't help you.
AB, you go to church regularly. I know
Oh
this
God.
Mhm,
because on many occasions where I didn't expect you to go to church, you went to church. Right?
mhm.
And
Okay, go
how
ahead.
many times have you been going to church and you realize, damn, I didn't get my offering, right? And then there are people like that. I do too. You
No more
forget your
excuses.
offering and then you won't go and go stop at a gas station, But you don't have to do that no more. Most times you just go to the church and you use these form of payments to make it happen. So it's convenient, for people. I mean, of course, they're trying to get that money, right? But
Mhm.
also it's convenient. You don't have to say,
That's
"Oh, I
another thing.
have money."
I never go into the gas station. I
I
can't tell you the
think
last time I've entered a gas station. I pay at the pump.
okay.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
you
'Cause a
technology
lot of
ready?
institutions would go down if it was left to me.
Okay.
So you don't
Mm,
grab no snacks or anything from the gas station.
No, no. First of all, I
mm.
see the gas station food to be junk food. I don't feed my body that stuff. No.
Not, I mean, yeah, okay, that's
That's
pretty.
fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, first of all, here's the thing. I
Right.
think the Catholic Church is still old school. We don't have any payment app. If I don't stop at my bank, or if I
Is
don't
there
get
a
my
reason? Is there a reason for that?
if I don't
Wow.
let me end my thought, let me end my thought process. If I don't stop at a bank, or I get my offering on a Saturday, or I stop at the gas station to Sam's Point, right? If I'm running late, it means I'm not going to
Is
put in
AB?
offering.
Is that me or he? Wait,
Can you hear me?
are you guys hearing AB?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we are.
So if I don't stop at the gas station or at the bank, right? And if I'm running late, it means like I'm not going to put in offering. I have to probably carry the following Sunday. So it's like the Catholic churches are still behind on that one. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. But on the other hand, though, right, I think if I go to church, if I see Zelle, if I see Cash App, I'm gonna be. But when it's like it's like today, I gotta put something here, right? It's like that's gonna be intimidating to
No
me.
excuse. No
Yeah,
excuse,
it's
bro.
like there's no escaping, right? There's no escaping, right? And that's kind of it's a little bit intimidating to me
I'll be
because
back. I gotta use my other phone here because
yeah,
this one is tripping.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear you, Titus. Can't hear AB.
yeah, maybe it's your
Okay,
phone.
okay.
Yeah, it's so it's like so that to me that's intimidating to me, right? It's like because what I'm used to is my cash. You know what I mean? And stuff. Yeah, I think I said all the Catholic churches that have gone to in
Wow.
this country, none of them. You don't see
Wow.
that. You know
The
what I mean?
Catholic people have money. People don't need to go to church
No,
to
no,
pay money to the church.
I don't think it's about that though, right? It's like I understand the convenience of these things, right? I understand what business is. I mean, Tadros, my man Tadros discussed last night that church is a business,
It is.
like taking
Mm.
more than giving back and things like that. But I think it's beneficial for the especially small businesses in minority communities. I think these payment apps and these avenues, it's beneficial for them because number one, uh, eh, I mean, there's improved security to Sam's point earlier. There's no risk of someone coming rob you if you don't have, if you don't have cash. I mean, at the cash register, right? Everything is either Zelle or whatever. Even like there's a place I went to a club one time in Atlanta. It was only cash app, no cash. It was only cash app, and I think it's very very beneficial for the minority communities. Go
I
ahead.
think
Ty.
Jumbo Africa does that. Yep.
What?
Jumbo
But Jumbo
Jumbo
Africa does accept both though,
they
don't they?
accept cash, but they see more of people paying now with Cash App because for me, I would always have to make sure. Well, I don't pay to go to the club, but the people there who will need to go need the cash will have to
Mhm.
make sure that they go to the ATM and get cash. But then Jumbo Africa was smart about it right away. They got the QR code right there for you to cash app them that money. They check to see that they receive it and then they let you in.
That's
So
smart.
that's to show you, huh?
That is smart. Smart.
Mhm, mhm,
Yeah.
mhm, mhm,
Nobody
mhm.
wants to miss out on their money.
So
I
you're a
mean, like
celebrity up there. You don't pay to go to the club.
I know, right? It's like she's a sub. I mean, she kind of surpasses me every day. But anyway,
But Abe, I
yeah,
wanna
but
just pick your brain
mhm,
on that, on what you said earlier about the Catholic Church,
yeah,
because you can't you can say, we can't assume that the Catholic Church is behind with technology, right?
mhm,
Because the Catholic Church is a whole government all by itself.
yeah.
So you can't even assume that. What is the intent behind that though? Because it's not due to the lack of technology.
Well,
I would
You know?
I would believe
like
that the purpose
there's,
is
I
not
mean,
to receive
the thing
money
is,
doing service. Yeah.
oh,
It's not
what?
Say that
to
again,
me,
BC.
what I've been told is that their purpose is not to be receiving money doing service. I think there's a part of the Bible that talks about you're not supposed to be receiving offering doing service. You're supposed to receive offering.
Mm,
So they have a good system of people sending in their tithes. Like for me, I didn't used to go to church, and so I would send my tithes into Brooklyn, the church here on Brooklyn Boulevard. I was sending my tithes, and then at the end of the day, they would
mhm.
send my tax statement in the mail for
Your
me to file
statement.
it. Yeah, my statement in the mail for me to file it every year. So I didn't have to go to church to tithe. I don't have to go to church
What
now. I
about
can always send
offerings?
it. Huh?
What about offerings?
That's what I'm saying. I can see why some people don't need to change their technology system if they have a strong congregation that is disciplined in sending in their tithes faithfully. You don't really need the offering process to
Mhm.
receive those. Yeah. But like
So
Abraham said, for communities of color, yeah.
so here's the thing, right? Two things to that, right? If you are a registered member of the church, right, they will send you envelope every month, right?
Okay.
With your name on it and things like that. So what you should do, you just put your stuff in your envelope. You go in the church and get care with you. If you have visited to that church, obviously, as I say, I've visited many Catholic churches. You just take your cash, and because you don't have an envelope, I mean, they have sometimes have envelope for guests. But the other thing though, right, you're not go to a Catholic church and they just they're offering, you know what I mean, and things like that, right? No one is. They do collect offering during mass, right? During the church service, but it's not going to be like that you have to, like the way you go to some churches, you know what I mean, as we were discussing here last night. You go there, it's
Hmm.
just there, it's like, so see, but you gotta
Yeah,
do
yeah.
this, do that. Nah, that doesn't happen there, right? It's like it's your own willing. I mean, you have to be willing to do it and things like that. So
Makes
does that
But
sense.
answer?
those
So
envelopes
so
do have bank. You can put your bank information on some of those envelopes. Like you can put your credit card, your bank card
Yeah,
information.
I've
Yeah.
seen that. I've
And
seen
then
that.
I don't know unless they stop taking checks. So those who have checkbooks, the senior citizens tend to still have
Yeah.
checkbooks, and so they can write a check too.
Okay,
Not
so
only just cash. So
some
the
go ahead
old
and
school way of putting money in church was you use your bank card and you write the information on the envelope if you trust it, one, or you wrote a check and put in the envelope or cash.
so I have a friend who was a pope. and he just sent me a text, and he said that the reason why my pope on Google actually, Google is saying, Google is saying, Google
Right.
is saying that the Catholic Church maintains that traditional style of collecting offerings because it's symbolic of giving, right? They want to demonstrate that giving versus, you know, just sitting there and just cashing
Just
whatever
collecting.
using your phone. Yeah, using your phone. So I think when they pass that on, and you know, it makes sense, right? Because I think that can also encourage people psychologically. It can encourage people to give because if we just all say, yeah, you really don't know who just gave, I can just pick up my phone. You know, I have been embarrassed not having offering one time in church, right?
Okay. Okay.
And I pledge to not make that happen again. So it's a kind of thing where if you know you that plate coming around, you're gonna do something about it versus you using your phone, you just get on that phone and kind of mess around and put it down. So
Okay.
maintaining that traditional style can be beneficial for it has a lot of benefits to it.
Okay. Well, folks, to know we are discussing the rise of payment apps. I mean, they are all over the place and things like that. There's a great discussion tonight. You can contribute to the discussion by calling our number 952-594-5154, or you can, put a comment in the chat. But let's get to the data aspect of it, right? I mean, these days, sometimes you hear about hacking all over the place. Do you think for those of us, for everyone using these payment apps, is it safe, in terms of your data? Miss B, I'll start with you and then I'll go to Sam and Titus.
No, I know so many people that have been robbed via Cash App. And recently somebody had a situation with Sendwave in their
Okay.
bank. Yeah, where $1,400 the person was able to attempt to take through Sendwave from their bank account. And
Okay.
so for me, I'm not too worried about it because my bank, Wells Fargo, protects my money very well. They really do. And then it's unfortunate not all banks do provide that same level of protection. So there is that risk. I know somebody who's lost $18,000 on Cash App via Cash App, right?
Wow. Okay.
And so that is something people should be worried about and concerned about, the possibility that fraudulent behavior can happen via Cash App. But fraudulent behavior happens even through our bank accounts. People, like every year, some Muhammad would come into the same Muhammad every year. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
He
Miss
can
B,
try me every year, 300 a year, 500 a year. Muhammad can
Right.
be trying his luck. Yeah.
I'm curious to know how they lost the money. Was the money sitting in Cash App, or they used the Cash App to withdraw the money from their me account?
Yes, they use the Cash App to withdraw the money from your account. Like normally, I know the app, you have to like literally go in there and make a payment to them and send it to somebody. So
Mm-hmm.
unless like they know how to be able to say, make it look like you're authorizing to send money to them through the app. That's how, like, good hackers, computer hackers, that's what they can do. They can send their money, your money, hack into your account and send the money to themselves through the app.
It's possible, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
That's it.
one of the most when I say our community user is that Cash App, right? How can we educate our community to, in terms of protecting their data or the stuff we are talking about, right? To make sure like they don't get scammed, because this day when you open your phone, man, there's so many sometimes phishing texts,
Yeah, yeah.
phishing text, phishing email. Sam, how do we make sure that we don't get caught up in a situation where if someone take away your phone, right? They could be sitting in India, or China or somewhere in Nigeria, or Accra, and get access to your phone. How can we make sure that we protect our data?
You brought up something here quickly. I'll answer your question, but to my observation as well,
Mhm.
I've observed that most white people have Venmo,
Yep.
and most Africans or Black folks got Cash App.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I've interacted with a lot of white folks, and I like to say about interacting with them on transactional level. I like to say about 98% of those transactions where folks saying I got Venmo, not Cash App.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even know what Cash App was, right? It's either
Mhm.
Zelle or Venmo. Now, so I don't know why our folks just like the Cash App thing. I don't know. But
Okay.
anyway, I think in order to secure anything online, right, you can't secure 100%. But some of the measures that you can try to do is to create very complex passwords, right? You don't want to create something simple, using your date of birth, auto scan, weak password. You want to use something complex.
Mm.
Most of my passwords are like sentences. Uh,
You
they're a
better
whole
read a book.
sentence,
You better
and then
read.
with some things in between it,
Uh-huh.
some symbols in between it. Like if I was using a command, I would use a symbol of something. So yeah, make it complex and change it often. Don't just have a password like you got a Facebook password for like 2-3 years straight. You can't change it. You gotta change your password, your Cash App password. Change it every now and then.
Okay.
Move things around.
Okay. Yeah, so to your point, there's some quick data around the various payment apps. Like Venmo, as I mentioned earlier, has 90 million active users. Facebook has 55 million active users. Zelle has 100 million active users.
Mm.
PayPal, which is the grandfather of them all, have 430 million. But a lot of young folks don't use PayPal. But back in the day,
Yeah.
yeah, back in the day, PayPal was actually the thing. If you want to buy something
Yeah,
online,
everybody was using it.
and things like that. So that's, that's that. But to your point, Sam, a lot of young folks and a lot of, Caucasian folks do use Venmo and things like that. I think one of the reason though, a lot of our folks maybe don't go around Venmo. It's a little bit complicated, right? there's so many things in there. That's just my
And
assumption,
you
right?
can,
That's
and I
true.
think another thing would be you can easily make a mistake in Venmo as far as who you're sending money to, because I think you have to do an at and then and put in certain things where Cash App is it's really easily done with the
It's
phone
more
number.
user friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what
yeah.
another thing that I learned, it says Cash App does international transfer. So that explains why our Liberian
Mm.
people,
Oh, really?
yes.
You
Yes.
didn't know that.
Venmo
I
does
learned
not allow
something.
international.
I
Yes.
learned something new on
Oh,
Venmo
I
this.
does
didn't know
not
that
allow
either.
I didn't know
international
that.
transfer.
But one thing I noticed about Venmo too,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Venmo's a snitch.
No, no, you,
It,
you have
It
to change your
does. It
settings.
is a
You gotta
snitch.
change your settings.
But you can change your setting. But I be seeing all these other people
Yeah.
business. I'm like, why don't they just?
yeah,
Yeah,
it be
They
saying
don't have to
like
know.
Tatas just pick up a puppy.
Yeah.
yeah.
Amy just paid for some
They
this and
Yeah.
send
that.
money to
You know what I
Titus
mean?
and it's oh, thank you for
Oh
the
shit.
ticket.
I saw
Okay.
that thing one
I'm
time.
like,
I was
well,
like,
why
what
they
the
don't?
heck?
I mute mine
Now,
right away.
So you
now,
gotta change
see,
your settings to not.
I
now,
always
see,
say stuff. Anytime I buy something, I just say stuff.
now,
Oh yeah, stuff.
now,
But
see.
no, my little brother is the one that put me onto Venmo. He wanted money. He said, "Oh, do you have Venmo? Can you send me money on Venmo?" I said, "What is Venmo?" At that time, I already had Cash App. I said, "The other one uses Cash App," so I sent him
Mhm,
money on the Cash App. The other one,
mhm,
the other sibling, he likes Venmo. And then
mhm.
when I got that, I'm like, but why can't I see all these people information? It's these transactions going on.
Yeah.
And of course, I know some of them. I'm like, do they
Yeah, those
not
are
realize
my
that their
favorite
business is
rants.
visible to everybody?
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
some of
It's
them
like now I understand Sam's point, right? It's like he's saying Venmo is a snitch because because so maybe like a lot of people don't go there because if you don't know how to change those settings,
Then it keeps you away.
That's
Amy,
Maybe
another reason.
Amy Jackson came out $50.
that's a possibility.
Yeah.
They saw that and they were like, "Oh
you're going
hell
to
Yeah,
trap
no,
yourself. You're going to trap
man.
yourself. You're going to trap yourself. But
hell
here's the
no."
thing, though, Titus, right? Titus, what happened? Like there are some folks who out of these payment apps with the ease of with their ease of use, with the rise of these technologies over the place. But there are some folks who are still old school, man. They don't go around these things. What do you do with folks like that? Someone who say, man, like you say you don't like Miss Visa since 2009. She has not used cash. There are some folks who still love their cash. They don't want to kind of adapt to these new technologies. What would you say to folks like those?
I mean, what are you gonna do? They've become accustomed to that method. It's
Mhm,
working for them.
mhm.
They feel more secure. My mom doesn't use card or least the measure least the measure apps. What the heck?
Okay.
She's going to go to the bank. She's getting her checkbook or she getting her cash. What are you gonna do about that? Just leave them. I mean, it's working for them. Their money is secure. They can see their money. They know nobody coming send. phishing email and say, "Oh yeah, you can win this gift if you click on this." Venmo is going all that stuff. You know, they're secure with their methods. So I mean, just leave them alone, right?
So with your mom though, right, what would be the rationale? Is it like she don't trust them, or is it a trust issue? Is it a trust issue or what?
Listen, the older
Um,
people used to have money under their mattress,
Oh yeah.
in their
They must
lapa
feel it in their
nose.
hair.
They put it in the bag, put it in
mhm,
the lapa nose. Like because
mhm.
they
Put it
can't
in their
mirror
breast,
them.
their breast, yeah.
Yeah, it can't mirror, so they can't be using all kind of
And
yeah,
cash
new
box.
new people teen it. No, she's good. But then when she was about to get her crib, the bank advisor like, "Oh, you don't have any credit card." I'm like, you see, I told you, guess what's something I be building it.
Mhm.
Yeah, but they will do it. We'll work on it together, and she was able to do just that one, and she kept her eyes on it and got what she needed. But other
Okay.
than that, man, they don't mess with all this new technology stuff, and it's working for them.
Okay. So on that line, those Sam, like, do you think it's only the younger generation, the second generation of immigrants that are more into these payment apps, right? It's like the younger folks, right? It's like that are more into these payment apps, and older folks then say, you know what? I don't trust it. I don't think it's something works for me, right? I'd rather go to my bank.
Yeah, because people like, some people just like to stick with what they found as, more comfortable, more convenient, right?
Hmm.
And secure for them. But man, sometimes it's just that we know so much about technology, so we just free to flow with it.
Hmm.
But to have transaction wherein you can't see the other person on the end, you just have to just trust the process.
Yeah.
Someone don't want to deal with that,
Hmm.
right? And then too, they feel that their accounts will be vulnerable
Okay.
by sending. So I think the fear of not knowing how things work, and
Hmm.
not being interested in getting to know those things just makes some people stay put and just use what they used to doing. So yeah, the young generation, we are in the world of technology, in the time of technology, and we take advantage of that. It's convenient for us. It's easier.
Okay.
Why should I walk to the bank when I can just sit here and just press a few buttons and things are done?
Okay.
So
Miss B, the way you think that's doing, one of the biggest thing right now, especially in America, North America, let's say it's loneliness, right? You hear sometimes like listening to various reports where it's a huge problem of loneliness. I mean, obviously May is mental health month, so putting out there, but huge problem of loneliness. What do you think, like the ease of payment, where you sitting right in the comfort of your home, can just pay someone, can just do everything online? What do you think that's doing to like relationships, right? Like Tyler mentioned, like these older folks, like his mom, they rather go to the bank. You know your banker, you always talk, right? He or she know your situation. But what do you think that's doing to relationships, right? Like with the modern world we live in, everyone, like for you, since 2009, you're not going to a bank.
And you're right, right? So like, especially people with elderly parents, that was like an activity, right?
Mm,
You would know that Friday come, every other Friday you're gonna have this activity with mom or dad, whoever that elderly person is, and you're gonna have to take them to the bank. First, you take them to get their little coffee from Perkins. Then from there, you take them to the bank. You
mhm,
prepare to sit down at that bank with them. They gotta meet the banker. The banker gotta tell them how much money in their account, give them all the updates, and then you come back and do it again in another 2 weeks or a month or at what. So, and what is happening is that those older folks, yes, are having less interaction now because of all the technology that their kids can do their banking for them online. They don't have to go
Mm.
and pick up mom and
mhm.
dad. So that's unfortunate. But no, when you talk about having that banking relationship, if you're a business owner, it's still very, very important. My husband, God bless him, um, he did not believe in a lot of these apps and technology. He's pretty old school. He still does go to the bank. I
Mhm,
don't go to the bank at all,
mhm,
never, ever, ever. But
mhm,
he still goes to the bank and knows the people at the bank. He knows all the banks with all the different employees at all the banks, and he
mhm.
maintains that relationship. It's important for him too, as a business owner, to have those relationships. And I will encourage all of us who are entrepreneurs, and if you're a black business owner, your ability to be having access to capital and be able to get into lending for your business is going to be determined on having that banking relationship. So it's still very important for you, but for those of us it's not necessary. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
not going
Tyler,
to do it.
Yeah, tell us to that point then, right? Do you think, especially for our community, are we using that? Are we losing that network, right? It's like to network with our bankers, or sometimes you might go in there, right? You might see someone that you might be standing in line talking from one thing to another. You might make a connection, but especially for our community, right? Because we are so reliant on these apps and on this technology, are we using that valuable source of network?
Well, I don't know how many of us are really having that conversation when we are at the bank. We're quiet. We're waiting for our time to interact with the teller or the banker. Really.
Mhm, mhm,
Um, Secondly, how many of us are really into small businesses in our community? And she, Ms. B, struck a really good point there. This is really beneficial for small business owners. That relationship is really important.
mhm,
Going to that bank. Let's take for example in Africa, well, where we're not so big on the credit,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
But the relationship, as we've watched, our parents, our pops, uncles, and whatever relationship that they have built in those very financial institutions with the money that they carry in and money that they brought out, they were able to have conversations, shake hands, and really, skill up their businesses just
Yeah.
based on that relationship. So how many of us are really interested in our community with entrepreneurship? we I think most of us are just comfortable with our 9 to 5, do it again, do it again, do it again. But if we were in that space, it would really be a great thing to be in there and have these conversations. You meet other folks, like for example, Wells Fargo that Ms. B talked about.
Mhm.
I was there one time and I saw a group of Liberian guys, right? They went for the way they were moving. I had to engage them. I'm like, well, you're only like you're talking about big money here today, oh,
Mhm.
you know. And right away, the minute they started giving me calls, like, oh, what be sitting on yet? The people they can give, yeah, they can give business loan and stuff. You didn't know what's going to be doing all that stuff. And that conversation just it brought up something completely different compared to how I used to see Wells Fargo. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't think
Sa-
we're really utilizing that opportunity.
Sam, you're a small business owner. Do you think that's important to have a relationship with your bank, or you just do everything online?
Jump on the spot again.
Oh, you're a small business
Man,
owner, man. No, gotta,
man.
you're on the business segment, so it's like you got a
So
business.
Unplugged,
so
unplugged.
so I think what Ms. B said, even if it's not the relationship you built is not gonna give you any leverage, right? Because they're gonna still ensure that you meet criteria, right? But at least having that relationship can point you into some of the directions that you didn't know about, right?
Mhm, mhm,
People can tell you some of the things that you didn't know about instead of just sitting behind the computer and trying to punch everything in.
mhm.
Um, you know, uh, I've started mine in a different route. I haven't really been dealing with banks so much for now. But at some point, that's something I will take advantage of. That relationship, because look, man, you can't beat one-on-one relationship, personal relationship. In any given space, it's better than just talking to somebody on the phone. When that person meets you, you get to meet them as well. You guys can skill things on a different level. So it's always a good advantage.
Okay. Miss B, though, right? Let's say, like, if you walk into a bank, if you go to a bank regular, especially when you go into these other affluent communities, these branches are still there. When you walk into these banks, right, there's that conversation. Sometimes your teller might say, "Hey, maybe I noticed this, I noticed this. I mean, there's this product and things like that. Do you want to talk to a banker? You know what I mean, and things like that." But in our communities, we are not having that. We are not having those conversations. Do you think we are missing out?
We are missing out because there's a lot of things that I learned early on, that from bankers when I used to go into the bank, um, as far as different fees that we get charged that we couldn't
Mhm.
get charged if we were knowledgeable about how to really manage having a checking account. How do you really manage having a savings account? What is
Okay.
the minimum you need to keep in there to make sure that you're not getting charged these fees every month, right? and even understanding the difference between having a credit union as a bank when you're a business owner versus having a bigger bank like a Wells Fargo or JP Morgan Chase. Those bigger banks, if you're a small business, small BIPOC business, Black business, minority business owner, having your account in those big banks is a disadvantage because, for instance, when COVID happened, Wells Fargo did not do PPP loans for our community. I had to find a bank in central Minnesota I was day and night. I was helping people complete their PPP loan applications. And most of our folks had a Wells Fargo bank account. Wells Fargo did PPP loans for their bigger 5 million plus clients, right? They did not
Okay.
bother with us at all.
Okay.
So that is some of the benefits I find in having a relationship with the bank, right? As a community organization, people were able to leverage the fact that it was a community organization calling Central Minnesota Bank. I think that was the name of the bank, to say, hey, I'm a community organization. I'm helping my community bank, my business owners to apply for this PPP loan. What can I do? And I was able to get so many applications through that bank approved until the loan the program ended. I never got anybody approved through Wells Fargo, U.S. Bank, none of the major banks at all. It was all the smaller banks that I was able to establish that relationship with and get those loans approved. So that was some of the benefits.
So West Fargo didn't get anyone in our community PPP loan.
Nope.
So
No.
are those people paying the loans back yet?
PPP loans, if done legitimately and legally, they were forgivable loans. They were not loans that you had to pay back.
What?
Yes.
Unplugging the wrong time.
That loan gotta come back, brother.
Unplugging the wrong time, bro.
Man, that
You
loan gotta come back.
You started unplug the wrong time.
I see Seth going for that loan suit. We're going for that.
You started unplug the wrong time. So, but
Let's go process people like Kanye West, the senator. Then
hang in there. Come around.
Process. What that pastor? What any
Joey
Austin.
Oh yeah, the process is $5
million. Got some?
He took PPP loan.
He did, and they made him pay it back.
Our church took PPP.
Why you had to pay back?
Why you pressing on it that for?
Why you had to pay back? I mean, all the money.
All the churches were able to access PPP loans.
All the money he made in that mega church.
Yeah. because like again, if you access it in a fraudulent way and they did their investigation, you was made to pay it back. And so I don't remember the full story, but he did get PPP loans and he was made to pay it back.
I think I heard something.
So in essence, he accessed it in a fraudulent way.
Yes, because what you was given the loan for was the percentage of your tax income. So whatever you file. And that was some of the problem I had with my people. They don't like to show income in their businesses. Some of them will say you have a 5-bedroom house, you have all these vehicles, but then say your business owner made $17,000 the whole year.
Okay.
And so you would do 2.5% of that, and that ended up being your PPP loan because you didn't show your business was making money. And that was some of the disadvantage. I had to tell some of them, go amend your taxes and be honest about how much money you made, and then you can come back and be able to apply for this PPP loan to get something decent, because I know y'all really need it right now. They had to pay for their office spaces, they had to pay for their stores, and so they needed the money. Pay some of the employees. Some people had to pay employees. So yeah. But yeah, that banking relationship is important. So yeah, you can't just be relying on these payment apps.
Okay. Well, fuck this. A 1-hour show. Got like 7 more minutes before we wrap this up. You can join the conversation, calling our number 952-594-5154, or putting a comment in the chat. But titles, though, as we have discussed this now for the last 1 hour, what are the pros and cons of these payment apps? What are some of the pros and cons of these payment apps?
I know we've been talking about mostly local apps that we use here in these environments. And Ms. B talked about Cash App being used internationally. Honestly, I didn't know that. But I know of Sendwave, everybody knows about that. Sendwave, everybody's using that. But there's an app that I use called World Remit. Remit, for sending money. one of the times that were really beneficial to me was, I was going for a project,
Yeah.
and I was kind of concerned on, carrying that type of money, what's going to
Oh.
happen, yeah,
Okay.
and stuff like that. So, but I got there, just using my I didn't have to take no cash with me through the airlines, nothing, and
Mm-hmm.
I could be over there and send money to myself.
Oh,
Just
really?
use the app. Yeah, send money to myself, my local number,
Mm.
then go through the man and mobile money stuff, cash it out, go to the bank, stuff like that. So that was very advantageous to me. But I gotta tell you though, one time I went, I was looking at a transaction, bro. I send the money, and the minute go tell me about the account I send money to close. I'm like, what do you mean?
Okay.
And it's like, oh, you gotta go to was it Cellcom that I had to MTN, because it
Mm-hmm.
was MTN supporting the mobile app, locally in Liberia. I
Yeah.
went to the minute, the manager has like, I gotta talk to them. The stuff is closed account. I'm like, you gotta open that account
Mm-hmm.
or give me my money some kind of way, but I need my money out of there.
Wow.
Yeah. So my, oh, it's a ghost account you sending money to. I'm like, no, bro. That man he gave me his account, his number and everything. He was there. I send the money, and now he talking about he ain't received the money.
They wanted
So
to take your
fortunately for
money.
me, I don't know who it was. Their general manager or whatever
Mm-hmm.
came there because the noise, the noise I was there with was not easy, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah. So he found some type of way. You're like, oh, tell us we can do something about it. I'm like, you better do something about it. I ain't leaving that money here, you know. So he
Mm.
went, he said, oh, the account is ghost, but I can make the account active and retrieve the money. I'm like, okay, do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah,
get him dashing. You have to get him
yeah.
to
Like,
China
do
course.
what you gotta do, bro.
They were holding that money
Yeah.
hostage to get paid off of it. Like, it's right there.
Man, my little brother
Yeah.
was like, the minute about to knock on you just
Yeah.
because
Okay.
what my little brother was saying, he's like the end user, right?
Uh-huh.
The one who I was doing the business with could connive with the bank, like with someone in the bank, and they could close me out and then later go and share the money. I'm like, that's not gonna happen to me, bro.
Wow. Okay.
But fortunately they were able to get that stuff out, and I walked away from there. But I think there are a lot of other apps like
Mm-hmm.
money mobile. That's how they call it, money mobile apps
Mm-hmm.
locally in Liberia, and I think that's a good thing too. I think it's a good thing. It bring again accessibility to folks.
Okay.
It reduces the security risk as well. So I mean, those are some of the pros and cons in a
Okay.
nutshell.
Okay, Sam, right, this is our business segment. We talk a lot about, financial literacy on this show. Do you think with the adoption of these apps, especially in our community, should there be more of a financial literacy, financial education, like, within Cash App or even Zelle? Right? Our community uses them a lot. Should these be embedded, right? Because these are conversation we avoid, right? Conversation, business conversation, we avoid them. Should these apps utilize that more for the benefit of our community?
You gotta ask yourself, how do these apps make money? They make money the more you spend, the more money they make.
Okay.
They're not trying to teach you how to save money. So I doubt that they will be able to do that. They won't want to do that. But I think the topic of financial literacy is something that everyone should try to take advantage of,
Hmm.
to ensure that you're spending wisely, saving money, and investing as much as you can. But I don't think these apps are set up to save you money, right? Because they want you to they provide you convenience with a little fee.
Hmm.
That's what they do.
Okay.
So they're great to use. I love using them. They're convenient for me, and that's why I use them. They're not the most secure, but it's convenient. And in 2025, I love convenience.
Okay. Okay. Well, as I said, it's a 1 hour show. We're almost at the top of the hour. So, Titus, as we wrap this up, what message you want to leave with the folks tonight that have been watching us for almost an hour? With the payment apps. I know, like, it's all over there.
When you skipping Miss Bill.
No, no, coming back to her. Coming, she's the last. She's my
SB is
co-host.
the co-host.
She's gonna wrap it up tonight. So I'm not I'm not skipping her. Titus.
So yeah, continue to use what works for you. what you're comfortable with. If you have questions about your app, go to your financial institution, go to the bank, and have a conversation with somebody. That the guys at the bank, they're more than willing to give you some education with these apps too. Some of them they've encountered it. Some of them use it. They're more than happy to provide information as you use these apps.
Mhm.
Remember also that there are downsides to them, right?
Yeah.
It's not 100% guarantee that your money is protected. So be open minded. If you suspect anything fraudulent, again, contact your financial institution. And then Venmo, don't be afraid because you see Venmo snitching. Venmo, I feel like Venmo is like I would use Venmo for business purposes. Like and then I just use Cash App on a personal level. I feel like it has more security protocol compared to Cash App. So to my African immigrant community, do not be afraid. There is a setting in there that you can you can use to uh privatize your transactions. So
Yeah.
but yeah, we're
Yeah.
in the times continue to evolve with technology. That's what it's here for.
Yeah, I mean, Venmo is not well adapted in our community for sure, right? Because if you transact a lot in the community and someone, oh, I have Venmo, they don't even know what that is, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes you don't know
yeah.
what that. And then one of the other thing about these payment apps, especially Cash App have shut me down twice, and no
Mhm.
reason, no customers. I mean, it's like when you do a lot of transaction on
With
there
too
for
many
some reason,
transactions. Yep.
yeah, it's like they shut you down. They
Yep.
give you no reason. Really? Okay, I'm using my money. Why are you shutting me down?
By the
Okay.
way, MoneyGram shut me down before.
Okay.
MoneyGram.
Okay.
Yeah.
Already. So sometimes that's it. There's nobody like they say appeal. When you appeal, they say, you know what? We have the right to shut you down. That's our policy. What's your policy? Right. So sometimes these are some of the downside. That's the one of the downside I feel. So right now I don't even have a cash app. I'm trying to see how can because in our community there's no cash app. Okay, so you be struggling to you be
To
struggling to try
transact.
yeah, you be struggling to try
The
to transact, bro.
the app doesn't want to allow embezzlement to be happening. So you getting shut down on these apps. I question your money
That's not
laundering
embe-
possibilities again.
that's not embezzlement. That's not embezzlement.
They don't
The
want
US,
money
the
laundering to
US
be
government,
happening.
the government is tracking that thing. Everybody know that these
Oh
things are
yeah.
going in and out. So it's like why
Yeah,
yeah.
they
And
don't
everybody
want money. But the criminals can still, like I said, if they hacking and if
okay.
the criminals they can still be laundering money, especially if you think about back in the day, salons and laundromats was an easy way for people to launder money. And you right now you can use your phone and your app to pay for stuff at the laundromats. Like laundromats have gone digital. Yes. I was
Okay.
surprised because I had to go wash my comforter and I didn't want to be taking it to the cleaners anymore. And I didn't have to use the machine. I used my phone to take care of my laundry, to pay for my clothes to be washed at the laundromat.
Okay.
So
Okay.
those are some of the reasons why maybe your Cash App may people Cash App may get shut down.
That's not a reason. They are still yet to tell me the reason. But Sam, what message you want to leave with the folks tonight that have been watching out with the adoption of these apps, of these payment apps? What's the message you want to leave on our business segment tonight? The folks that have been watching us. You on mute. You on mute.
Yeah, no, I want to say thanks for watching us, and these forms of payments are convenient, but why they are convenient, they also present risk, and it's important that you change your password, protect your account, look at it as something that is not 100% secure, and as
Mm-hmm.
you're using it, don't get too comfortable, and not secure your account, and always double check. Make sure you sending the money to the right person. And so that you don't have to. Yeah, I sent money to the wrong person before, and I didn't get it back.
Yeah, that's what.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
So
cash app.
yeah,
Once it's gone, it's gone.
yeah. So it happened before. So and sometimes when I'm sending things to first time user, like not first time user, but first time transaction, sometimes I send $1.
Mm-hmm.
test it out, make sure they get the right thing. So stuff like that, those kind of measures. Change your password, man, and and just use it for the convenience of it. And folks, like for the older folks who don't want to get into it, that's what you choose. That's fine. But I tell you, it's convenient. Try it with small amounts, and just go from there. You might like it. So thanks for interacting with us tonight, and over to you, Mr. Host.
If you just quick though, right? If you send someone money mistaken on Cash App, can you file a grievance? Can you file a report, or what do they do? They just lose it completely?
I send the money with SendWave.
Oh, SendWave, okay.
SendWave, yeah, I send them out SendWave. So what happened was that the person I have been sending money to them before, but he changed his number.
Oh.
And so when he asked me for the mod, I just assumed that the money was still the number was still the same, and I sent the money. Good thing wasn't so much; it wasn't a lot of money. So, he said, "Oh man, I don't got that number anymore though." So it just been going.
Okay. Miss B, you get a last word tonight. Closer out there, as my co-host.
So I just want to share to folks that we're not that advanced. Apparently, China now has a palm recognition technology for payments that people can do. Yes, you just show up. You just show up and you wave your palm over the payment thing, and your bill gets paid. So you don't have to. You carry your. I don't even think you probably need to have a bank anymore. But yeah, so China is way ahead of us.
How does that work? Is it a chip in your body or something?
No, so it's biometric recognition.
Biometrics.
Yeah, so your biometric is registered into a data system, and through that recognition, you're able to go around paying for stuff with your palm of your hands.
Oh, okay. So that's
there's a movie called "What Happened to Monday" or "Where Is Monday" on Netflix. It does speak about the chip, and the chip is actually already happening, but that's a whole nother conversation. Yeah.
So before you close out, where do you think the United States is on the ring of technology in the world?
When it comes to payments or payment apps,
technology overall.
Okay.
As far as for society, we're still below. I mean, our military, I'm sure it's way advanced. There's things our military has access to that we, the citizens, don't have access to compared to other countries, I'm sure.
Okay. Well, folks, that's the end of our show tonight by Miss B. Oh, go ahead. No, you're on mute.
We'll give 3 more minutes, man. That was a very good question here.
Okay, go ahead.
And I think to really kind of look at that is how much are we struggling with technology? I mean, our lives. How much are we struggling? What other things that could improve our technology? How technology can improve our lives in ways that we're struggling, right? So I think that for me, I'll say that we're doing pretty well, right? We're doing pretty well. That chip thing, I don't know, man. I think this for how much I know our communities, I think many of us will reject that chip thing. Yeah.
Pop.
Because when we think about that chip, we associate it with the how you call it 666, right? and yeah, that's what it is.
Here comes the religion again.
No, but when you look at but yes, why I said this community, right? Because a lot of folks here, right, are Christians, unlike China. So China people practice Buddhism, and so a lot. So they don't see the other side of things. But the way we look at things, I'm pretty sure we will not really be too accepting of that. I mean, will you want to have a chip in your
chip? Nah.
Yeah, you see.
No, we're not.
Well, Miss B says not a chip though, right?
The biometric
is not a chip.
Yeah,
The chip is happening, and I'm thinking the chip is not Asia.
You've already done the biometric process to get your green card and stuff here, so it's not a chip. You just go your fingerprint and whatever. So
we'll take that.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll take that. No. But the chip,
I ain't doing no chip.
Are you guys having technical difficulties since we got on this topic?
You now.
I am. Can y'all even see me? My screen is
God,
black. Can y'all see my
you
face?
see,
You
Like
now.
the minute bird technology and they put my co-host in the dark. So hey man,
You see?
Lord.
Yeah, but y'all can hear me, right?
yeah, we
We
can hear
hear
you right.
you, but I think the
But we
United
can
States
see
want
you.
us
Let
to
me leave it
get
people.
off.
Technology
Let me
has
leave the people. Let me
Well,
leave the people.
I think China and Japan are taking the lead on technology, man.
No, actually, South Korea
South
is
Yeah,
Korea.
that
number
is.
one.
There you go. Same. Okay. I would assume that too because I mean I agree with you. Not assume I agree with you because those places they are teaching their students
Mm-hmm.
to be able to perform certain things and do certain things. Why our kids are just still learning regular education here.
okay, folks. Great discussion.
Yeah,
Anyway, from
America has a long way to catch up, brother. When it comes to education, we the last. I think even Liberia do it better than us.
Oh, I beg you.
from payment apps to technology, great discussion, guys. But tomorrow we have a great one here. We're gonna have a active military duty person on here in honor of Memorial Day, right? To tell us about their service, today. I mean, to this great country. So tomorrow, join us Thursday.
The man want to
So
come back.
who?
That man ain't gonna come back. He ain't got nothing to tell.
If
That
I
man ain't
got-
gonna come back.
oh,
That man ain't gonna
you want
Now
somebody
who's
who
that?
you want somebody who has going to come back?
You want to
That
hear
go to
some
come
what?
back and come back.
You
Don't be
want to hear
passing
some
around.
war slurs?
Don't
You
be
want to hear
passing
war
around your
stories?
uniform here. You
What's the
can't tell
topic?
story.
You want to hear war
What's the
stories?
topic?
You
They
want
war
to
to the
come back.
train. Like
we
war
are
story,
honoring
man.
we are honoring service members tomorrow, right? Tomorrow because Memorial Day weekend, we are honoring service members tomorrow.
Oh, hey
Yeah.
man, I wonder how George doing. My friend George went to combat.
George want
Huh?
to come back. Yeah, George's a
Yeah,
real.
No, but you were in
bring George.
Afghanistan.
Bring
Yeah,
George. The more the better.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some like
Okay.
two, 3 tours. Come
Okay.
back.
I was-
I
Okay.
can come back.
Veterans.
Okay. Okay.
Man, I went a few combats. Man, what are you talking about?
But in
Okay.
the Afghanistan,
Iowa.
Anyway,
you
you
went
know,
to the reserves. You talking about you
no,
were combat.
I've been in combat. I was born like bro. I was
At the
born into
Rico man,
combat.
man, talking about.
combat
I
I
tell
mean
real
bandit.
Luna
So anyway,
combat.
folks,
You right, brother. You
I tell
right.
real Luna combat, man. What you talking about?
Right.
anyway, yeah, your combat was
I
great.
catch
But
up
anyway,
with the best.
folks, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. It's been a great show.
Thanks for
Hope you
having
can
us.
join us tomorrow. And then Friday is our social segment. It's going to be late. So thank
Friday
you.
we dissecting P Diddy.
Oh
What?
shit, you're going to repeat that. Okay. Okay, that's good. Okay, folks, good night.
Yeah, guys.